Hello and welcome to the brewery. Well, behind me I'm sparging a black IPA. There's a couple of other things to look at today. Firstly, since I've moved to RO water, I've been paying a lot more attention again to the pH of my water, so here's a little thing on how I measure pH with my cheap pH meter. Okay, so today we are brewing what will become a black IPA. So the mash is running at the moment, but the real thing to notice is this is the second brew I've done using the reverse osmosis water. So the one major change here is that I'm adding some acid to the water. So I have some 60% lactic acid, and I've been adding that in with the grains. I tend to put my water adjustment salts in with the grains, so I've been putting that in as well. And I've brought out my cheapo pH meter, which appears to still be working. So I calibrate it using this pH buffer solution. I literally just dunk it in, and there's a screw at the back you adjust to get to the right pH 7. And then I've put in a sample of wort here. I think the wort's a little bit warm still, which throws off the reading. So I'm going to let that cool down. At the moment it's reading pH 5, which is a little bit below where I want it to be. I'd like it to be 5.2 to 5.4, but I have a suspicion it may just be the temperature that's throwing it off. Otherwise my calculations are wrong. I'm mostly relying on Beersmith for it, but we will see what that turns out. So these cheap little pH meters are actually quite good and seem to do quite a decent job. And also I've updated the brew fridge system, so let's go and have a look at that as it updates itself automatically now by motion sensing. Right, so pour yourself some beer. And there you go, it shows you how much it poured that time. All it's doing is sensing yourself moving. Basically it takes a picture with the camera every half a second or so, takes that down to a very small pixel hiding in the corner up there, because you need to be able to have it on a display to make this work. Compares how much has changed in brightness, and if a significant amount has changed in brightness since the last picture, then it runs the update function, which then goes and gets some data. I've added the functionality that gets the last pour amount, which is quite interesting. It does seem to wander a bit, because this one says it's 5 litres last time, which is obviously untrue. That may be just due to us taking the keg out, but it didn't say that last time I looked. So there's something a little bit odd going on with the last pour data, but it's coming accurately from the API, so there's something wrong at the API level, which is not under my control. Okay, so there you go. That's where we are with the keg sensor. And finally, we're going to have a play with the steam condenser. So let me get that set up as we bring the wort to the boil after the finish of the sparge. Okay, so now we're boiling, it's time to have a quick look at the steam condenser. Well, we're not getting a lot of steam escaping. We've got some water dripping out from here, but I think that's just because I've used gaffer tape to seal it up. When I change it to a big Jubilee clip like we've got there, that might seal up better. I turned flow up a little bit, so it's probably running a little bit higher than I was expecting, flow rate wise, just to keep the temperature down. I've also propped the hood on a bit better here. I'll probably make a better way of doing this later, just to keep this side of it sealed down a little bit more, but there doesn't seem to be any steam escaping over here. So overall I think this is working reasonably well, which is quite a nice surprise. But then when it's a nice day like today, I will probably just open the door and use the extractor fan based system, but in the depths of winter I think this will give me a nice alternative. So finally, a little bit about the beer I'm brewing today. It is a New Zealand hopped black IPA, so the first batch of hops are getting ready there. They're going in the last 50 minutes of the boil, and they're a mix of Tweaker, which we got free off someone from the Homebrew Club, and something called, he says going to look at his sheet, Taheke, something like that. My Maori pronunciation is non-existent. I don't know where I got those from. They were in my hop freezer, so I thought it was time to use them up. So this will have this one, which is a 50-minute edition, a similar edition at Flame Out, and then something for dry hop. Anyway, so we will let the boil finish, but that's it for today, and I hope you enjoy the video.